Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another weekly plan with me for June the 24th through the 30th, 2024. So if you have been watching any of my videos, I'm going to try to make this faster than most of my videos. Then you know that I am kind of using both of these. I started out in this because I wanted to get an idea of what a Hobonichi cousin would be like with having like a full day on a page, but then also having like other little places where things were sectioned out, such as, where is it, where like things were sectioned out like this, where I could still be able to log and see things that I needed. So I this is too big. It's definitely too big. I kind of knew that in the beginning, but I've never used a whole planner to plan like this. So I was open to trying it and seeing how it worked, and that's what I did. But this past week, as you know, the 17th through the 23rd, I was in this regular Jot Dollar Tree notebook, and I was just seeing how well things would go in this. And okay, I don't even know. I kind of don't know where to start or how to say it, so to speak. I don't know if I need smaller or simpler or both. And I think that's what I'm trying to like weed out, because I love planning. I love it all, but I have been failing. Not only have I been failing at it, I've been like very unproductive, I would say. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because maybe I don't need a guide, so to speak. I definitely need a guide with like my expense tracking and things of that sort, but I'm not sure if I don't need a guide, and that's the problem. I don't know. I've been really struggling to understand what exactly it is. So I was in this book. I used just these weekly these weekly, like, they're not even inserts. They came off of a little packet that I also got from the Dollar Tree. But I thought it'd be a very simple way to like get in what I would typically have in my normal planner, still having my weekly goals, which is something that I definitely need, still having my habit tracking, which I also definitely need and use. And so this is kind of like a review and flip through, as well as planning for next week. So this is how last week went. I think it went pretty well. The only thing that you won't see that I didn't do is I was looking at what I needed to do, and after Monday, kind of forgot to highlight and take things off. So I did get some things done. Well, let me grab a highlight now to see just how productive I was. So I'm gonna grab a highlight and just kind of see how productive I was. I did that Friday. I did grocery shop. I did that shop. Garbage, pay bills. So I was productive, I'd say. Wash. I did do a film and post that day. And yeah. So I did that. I did that. I didn't do the budgeting. I had the coffee. I didn't read. And I did some me time. And this I did not do. So I would say, for the most part, looking at the things that's highlighted, that I did, or I forgot Sunday. I did not meal plan. I still thought about July planning and my weekly planning. I didn't jot down all the appointments that's needed. But so if I look back at this past week of what I used with Just Bing and here, and versus to having a very large full page in here and not utilizing it, I did pretty well. I got in things that I was grateful for, and that's something that's extremely important to me. So I did that, and then at the end of the week, I put like a weekly review, which I think is important, especially now if you are deciding between different planners. What worked? The freedom to do what I wanted with just enough space. This size worked for me. Things were great. What didn't work? Consistency and basically looking at it every day and not having meal planning in here as well. So because I'm trying to be more mindful of what I eat and snack on and things of that sort, it was a little bit difficult as to not having the meal plan totally in here. Also, I did not look at this every day, and I think that was a problem. I'm not sure why I didn't look at it every day, but I didn't. Would I do it again? Absolutely. It was very functional and it worked. It's also small enough for it to be portable as well. So I could easily, I love like the little clips, put the clips so it doesn't like fly open and mess up any of the pages, but I could still do that. And so for this week, I decided to do the same thing. Still had the 2 weeks, my work schedule on this side, and on this side, like my appointments or anything like that that's coming up, which is also very important to me in here. You will always see me in my layouts have an events, a gratitude. Events and gratitude is something that I've definitely still been keeping up with, as well as meal tracking. You'll always see, and like the exercise sort of fitness tracking, where it tracks my sleep, movement, floors, steps, things of that. And then I will always have an expense tracker because my budget and finances is important. So I did, it wasn't so much as a layout really for here. This was pretty much just setting the stage, I would say. So here I decided to throw in a meal plan. This was supposed to be what I was planning out, and this was supposed to be me logging what I had. In logging, I've also realized that I'm not as truthful in logging. I'll log like the bigger things that I snack on along the way. I don't tend to log, which I think that's very much important. I still have my layout for the habit tracking, except on last week I did it on a few sheets. This I did it on 2, just put my weekly videos down below. Still trying to get down the AM PM thing. And yeah, I left 2 spaces because I wasn't sure if I was gonna forget something because I was doing it so quickly. And then just general layout of what I want. No real stickers added, just the date, and gratitude. So I will be sure to put what I'm grateful for. And of course, the weekly review at the end, except I also added a July thoughts as to what I will be using for July. Because, yeah, I don't know. I've kind of been all over the place. I'm really not sure why. I'm not sure why. I've been all over the place. But it's not a good feeling. I really think that I need simpler because I need to hone in on certain things more. I'm just not sure why it's been a slight disconnect. I'm just having a hard time finding my groove to things. And it's not the first time it happened, but I will say since I've been like planning in notebooks, whether it's composition or just any notebook, I have been a lot more explorative, I guess you could say, And I'm not sure if I just need to get back to a place where I am um, like more settled, more uniform. I know I need to simplify things because sometimes having a lot of space makes me think of a lot of things to do. And if I'm having a whole page of writing things down, it might not be the best thing. I know I write big. I totally forgot who I was listening to, but I was watching a video for one YouTuber, and she was explaining like even writing, like how to be productive in your planners. And she was saying to like even pay attention to your handwriting. I know my handwriting is horrible most times. Most times I don't even know what I wrote down. And that's the same for at work too, because I'm always in like a rush in writing and don't put any real thought into it. I just get it down. But I think that's another factor, like being able to pay attention to my writing and um, just like really connect with what I'm doing. I would say it's almost like cooking. You know, it's one thing to cook, and it's another thing to be a chef if it's something that you enjoy, or it's even another thing than to cook with love, with the intent behind it of I'm cooking this for somebody that I love and I want it to be shown. And that's how I'm kind of looking at handwriting. Like planning is important to me, so it should be just as important for me to write neat enough to be able to understand what I wrote and distinguish what it is, even if I'm doing a flip through a year from now. So if these are my books that I may want to look back on, what is it that I'm keeping in it, but also am I going to be able to read it afterwards? So just little details like that I feel like I've gotten disconnected with, and some things has been a rush. It's been definitely a huge lot of things that's overwhelming in my life now, but I understand that planning is so very important. I am just trying to work my way through how exactly to get that done. I think back to the point in when I used to have one diary or journal, so to speak, and it lasted me the whole year. I had no stickers in it. It was just all writing, and I was able to go back in time and look at things. And that's kind of how I want my planners to be. And I know it's a freedom in a sense with notebooks. You can come in and out of things at different times, but for me, in looking at the longevity, I've always been like a memory keeper. I've always been a person that kept a journal, even younger. So being able to go back on these moments and even like look at, okay, how was my life then? Because it was a point in my life where I was very sick and nothing would have been on the to-do list but just survive, get up and hopefully survive. So being able to look back and see that reflection in whatever I'm doing, but also see, you know, hey, I was productive. It's important to me. So I'm not that thrilled about hopping in and out of things, at least not now, because I feel like I need more consistency. I need more structure. And then it even had me thinking a little bit deeper into it as to why do I need to jump? What is it that's not working that I'm maybe not addressing? Sometimes it's sometimes in life you can't hop things. Sometimes you have to stick with it. And I always try to look at things as a bigger picture, like what am I learning from when I do these habit trackers? Because if we're not going back to look at the habit, like if we're just filling it out of routine and we don't go back and say, hey, well, this week I noticed that I got a little bit more sleep than last week. So what happened this week, or what did I do? And then I go back to habits and say, okay, well, I did have my tea that week, or I did have my pain medicine that week. So I was able to maybe sleep a little bit better. I did get a lot more reading in, so I felt a lot more accomplished for that week. So I'm not even sure if I need to have just a set of weekly goals, but also task lists. Um, and, when I think about it, goals and a task list to me is a little bit different. So I don't know. I'm figuring a lot of stuff out and I'm happy about that. And I may even do like, some journaling about planning in this same book because I think it's very important to be able to think about these things. Planning is nice, decorating, but we also want to be productive. At least I do. I want to be productive and I want to accomplish things. And I think the only way to really do that is to really evaluate my system and why I'm using it and to know when something is working and not, but be comfortable enough to adjust to it, but not keep adjusting for no good reason. I do tend to get bored with things sometimes, but in terms of planning, I think until I get that consistency back or until I get to a point where I feel like I'm productive and really meeting my goals, then my focus needs to be on consistency because I believe consistency and discipline are so closely aligned together and they both work to the overall purpose of our goals. So I definitely need to strengthen my consistency and discipline around planning and just managing my own life, because planning for me is a sense of managing my life, like how well I'm managing my time, how well I'm managing changes that come in and out. If different changes in my life come, that doesn't mean I necessarily need to change my planning because things on the outside are going a little haywire. So hopefully that made some sense, and it didn't seem like I was just talking. But let me know down below if you all have been struggling at all with anything, or how do you overcome inconsistency in planning or not being productive. I would definitely love to hear it. Thank you all so much for watching. Happy Monday, and I hope you all have a awesome week.